ABO antigens are found everywhere in all the fluids of the body, but not in the case of the cerebrospinal fluid, luckily. Then caustic poison. Why does it corrode the mucosa? It is like asking why a dog bites. It's a tendency to bite, sir. So I don't know, is there any place where we can get a reference for giving why corrosive poisoning corrodes, why sunlight is light, it is not dark. So these are all the petty questions. Next, let's take up the next question. This is a good question. Early labor, second stage of labor. What are the dermatomes responsible for the pain transmission? In the first stage, it is the T11 and T12 which are important, whereas in the second stage, once the distension of perineum occur and vagina occur, then S2, 3, 4 become the important dermatomes which are transmitting the pain is what need to be remembered. Now, a lot of times fetal alcohol syndrome was a favorite question. In that, what you see is a decreased growth, not a overgrowth. And what you see is a microcephaly, low nasal bridge, a short nose, a small mid-face, and a thin upper lip, etc., etc. What is a NARP syndrome? This is another quiz question. But anyway, one question you can expect about which topic? Mitochondrial myopathies and mitochondrial disorders. Without that, there is no paper, no? Because that is an emerging topic. So it's a reasonable question. So you should remember, neuropathy, ataxia, retinitis pigmentosa, combination is called NARP syndrome. And can you give me some other example of a mitochondrially transmitted diseases? Maternal mitochondrial, Leber's optic neuropathy, etc., etc. This is also a mitochondrially transmitted disease. This is a challenging question, I like to call it as, but not at undergraduate level question. Restricted eye movement in all directions, there is a ptosis, but there is no squint or there is no diplopia. If there were to be diplopia, what is your answer? Along with restriction of movement, then that is myasthenia gravis. Without diplopia, with a restriction of movement in all the directions means probably this person's restricted eye movement is involving both the eyes. So examiner is asking, out of all, which will lead to a restricted eye movement bilaterally? It is in the chronic progressive external ophthalmoplegia called CPEO is the diagnosis where there is a symmetric ptosis, paralysis of the extraocular muscle with a sparing of the pupillary function, sparing of the accommodation. And because it is bilateral, there is no diplopia. Patient doesn't remember or know that he is suffering this condition. It is you who examines it. That is chronic progressive external ophthalmoplegia. Whereas myasthenia gravis patient will say, sir, I am suffering a double vision, etc., etc. They are all told by the myasthenia gravis. So answer becomes chronic progressive external ophthalmoplegia is what need to be remembered. With periventricular leukomalacia, there is a tendency for spastic diplegia as a complication of it. A neonate has got abscess with Costman syndrome, then what is your treatment? How many have you treated? Costman syndrome. First of all, which chapter does it come? Is it a syndrome involving ovaries, liver, uterus, immune system? What is your answer? Immune system, just like Job syndrome, Chediak-Higashi, Costman also. Let us talk about it. Costman syndrome. Costman is an immunodeficiency disorder where there is congenital neutropenia. So is it GCSF or GM-CSF, which is used for stimulating the neutrophils once more? It is the GCSF, which is the one, not GM-CSF, which is used in the management of Costman syndrome. Another difficult question which is not really required to be remembered in exam, Costman's. There may not be any recurrence at all in future. So that's the reason, why don't you write a book before you finish your entrance preparation, dustbin questions that should not be read for entrance. You write a book and then put all the rare questions in that, and then that actually will help more rather than what you call high yield topic approach. You should be quite sure. Now, weakest area of the sclera which can undergo a rupture. It is the point where there is an insertion of the recti is considered to be the very common location where a scleral perforation and a scleral trauma will occur is what need to be remembered. What is necrotizing lymphadenitis? Now we are discussing the rare questions which are not going to come back. Kikuchi syndrome, have you heard of that? I mean, it was one of my examiner's favorite question it is. Kikuchi syndrome. There is a lymph node. With all enthusiasm you have plugged out that lymph node, did a biopsy and has looking at it. You find necrotizing lesion in that. So it is called necrotizing lymphadenitis, otherwise called Kikuchi syndrome. Where do you find MIC2 positivity? It is one of the important markers for the Ewing sarcoma, and primitive neuroectodermal tumors is what need to be remembered. Oriconazole is just like the itraconazole, fluconazole kind of a drug. But what is importance of oriconazole? I still remember while I was in MD first year, clinical trials of oriconazole started. That was somewhere in 2002. Now I am happy to see oriconazole all the way from clinical trials when we were in MD first year came into the exam paper also. Oriconazole is useful for any invasive fungal infection like aspergillosis. It is also used for any kind of candidemia. Don't be surprised, Candida albicans tropicalis is given one of the two, it would have been and tend to answer that no. That's all luring of the examiner. Correct answer would be mucormycosis. It is an exception about it. Mucormycosis is resistant to oriconazole, which is used in any other invasive fungal infections is what need to be remembered. Now what is carciprodol and from where does it form? So carisoprodol is basically has got a abuse potential because it's a prodrug of meprobamate is what need to be remembered. It's a centrally acting skeletal muscle relaxant is what need to be remembered. Now it is a pancreatic juices where there is a very high concentration of the potassium is what need to be remembered. Now what will make dependence to develop in substance abuse? Family history is very important, doctor. If your patient's father, grandfather, mama, chacha, they all by evening their job is to open a quarter bottle and then have a drink. There is a greater chance that this guy also with a first degree relative who is a drinker, boozer, can end up into that. So that is the reason family history is important. Pressure by peers. Yeah, in a college festival if you say no I don't drink beer, then they will get you a tirtha and make you to drink it and declare you as acharya. So for the sake of them you have to start drinking, and within short time you will outpace them. They will be thinking, this fellow don't invite for the next party, he will finish all the bottles brought. Last time he was shyful, this time he is audaciously open to drink. Peer pressure is second important thing. Certain personalities also, because certain personalities are risk taking. Try everything in the world possible before you die. Have you read that book called 1000 Things You Should Do Before Dying? How many things? 1000 things, 100 things. 1000 is difficult. So one of that is jumping from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The idea is before doing those 1000 you will die anyway. So personality to try out, they are all the important. But intelligence has nothing to play a role towards dependence. You can't say that less intelligent or more alcohol dependent, more intelligent. It can occur the vice versa also. Now what is the investigation of choice if there is a vascular ring of the airway? For generally vascular rings, doctor, it is the barium which is the best investigation. There is not much of a role. Barium esophagogram is the best investigation. But if you ask me second best, yes, because barium not being given, it is a catheter directed angiography which is considered to be the investigation. Then under the NRHM, National Rural Health Mission, what are the various objectives? I leave to you a big list of objectives. One is to promote the ASHAs, etc., etc. And what do you mean by JSY, doctor? One of the options given was strengthening of JSY. What is JSY? JSY is Janani Suraksha Yojana, to basically promote it for the below poverty line families to get uplifted and carry them to the hospital, help them to get treated, That's all the part of the JSY, which is Janani Suraksha Yojana. Then in the growth chart, there is one upper curve, lower curve. Is it where that point, after you take the weight, height, everything, you will put a point on the growth chart, no? If the point where you are putting it, is it important? Is it the direction in which the point is going is important? If the direction the point is going is important. One mock test may give you 120 marks only. But next mock test, if you make 140, it is a good growth chart. But this mock test you got 170, next mock test you got 70 is a bad growth chart. So not point, it is what? Direction, which is important. Then on PR examination we palpate prostate, anorectal ring and bulb of penis, but not ureter is what you should be quite sure about. So a couple of more questions, one about that Nobel Prize, if you are able to remember some more 2-3 questions, just you can give a recap. And once more, thanks for a patient listening.